When Kevin and his parents arrived at Monty's wedding in New York, Aunt Laura and his cousin Ethan started to insult them. "Uncle Al and Aunt Susan, what possessed you to come here?" Ethan had never liked Kevin all that much. Later on, Uncle Thomas went and tracked him down to ask him to take over as CEO of Williams Media. Ethan was jealous because he'd been running the company up until they needed the bailout from Kevin. Alan's face suddenly turned pale. He moaned and collapsed on the floor. "Dad, what's wrong?" Kevin immediately took out his phone and dialed 911. "Ethan, if something happens to my father, I'll hold you personally responsible." Then Kevin suddenly looked at his Uncle Thomas and said, "It seems I made a bad choice lending money to the Williams family. I think I may just pull out my $8 billion and head back to Chicago." Everyone who heard this was stunned. "Why do you think we'd lend you any money? I lent $8 billion to the family to bail them out of the mess they'd gotten into. Just ask Uncle Thomas." Monty heard all the noise and rushed over with Hannah. Then he picked up his father from the floor and walked carefully towards the door. An ambulance soon arrived at the mansion's entrance. Kevin helped them load his father in the van, and his mother rode along with them. Kevin turned around and went back inside. "You're no longer a member of this family. Get the hell out right now." "Shut up." Then Thomas turned around and looked at Kevin. "Kevin, we're all family here." "No. Ethan just said that I'm no longer a member of this family." "But Kevin, how can you talk to Uncle Thomas like this?" "Monty Aspinwall." And Kevin emphasized that his cousin had a different last name. "Tomorrow you can come over to Williams Media for a job. I'm so sorry I messed up your wedding, Monty." He took a beautifully decorated gift envelope out of his pocket and handed it to his cousin. Without giving Monty any time to react, Kevin left the mansion. Kevin got to the hospital within 20 minutes and saw that his father wasn't being treated yet. His mother was pleading with a nurse, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I'm sorry, but the administrator already told you. This is a private hospital and you have no insurance coverage. We can keep him stable, but there's nothing else we can do." After Alan and Susan left Chicago, they'd managed to save a little money, but certainly not enough to pay for an operation. When Susan saw her son walk in, she immediately calmed down. "Mom, what's going on?" "They said that if we can't afford the surgery, all they can do is stabilize him. A human life is at stake, and you want to get paid first? I'll cover everything. Now send him to surgery immediately. The bill for this kind of surgery is $120,000. "I said I'll pay you." Just then, the hospital director arrived with a few security guards. At the same moment, Kevin's phone rang. When he saw that it was Quinn calling, Kevin answered. "Mr. Williams, I know you're in my hospital right now. Wait for me right there. I'll be down there as soon as I can." Then he hung up. "Young man, if you continue to cause trouble, I'll ask security to have you removed from the property." "All this for just $120,000? I'll give it to you now," Kevin grumbled as he slapped his bank card on the counter. Moments later, the assistant came back with the bank card. "Sir, here is your card as well as the hospital's invoice. Now can you please arrange for my father's surgery?" "Yes, sir." The whole staff was in shock. As they were wheeling Alan to pre-op, the surgeon stopped right in front of Kevin and spoke to him. "Kevin, what are you doing here? Is the patient your father?" "I'm Dr. Willow. We met at President Wright's birthday party." "Dr. Willow? Don't you work in Chicago?" "The hospital arranged for me to come here for an exchange program." "What happened to your father?" "It looks like he had an acute myocardial infarction, a heart attack." "Don't worry, I'll do my best." After saying that, Dr. Willow put her mask back on and headed toward the operating room. "Kevin, where did you ever get so much money from? I hope you're not involved in something illegal." "Don't worry, Mom. I earned it myself." "Mom, I'll go to Uncle Thomas tomorrow to get back the money I lent the family. While I'm there, I'll completely cut my ties with them." Susan fell asleep on the sofa, probably from exhaustion after the scene at Monty's wedding. 3 hours had gone by and the director was walking into the office with Dr. Willow. "Dr. Willow, how is my father?" "The surgery was successful and your father is out of danger." Just then, they all heard footsteps hurrying down the hall. While Dr. Willow and the hospital director stared in amazement, Quinn walked over to Kevin and warmly shook his hand. "Mr. Williams, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting." "No problem at all. I still have the item you requested. Besides, I have some details to work out with the director. Ernie Richter Have you been neglecting your duties? President Quinn, I don't know how often you're able to visit this hospital. These administrators have no conscience. They park dying patients in the corridor while they shake down their families for money. Ernie Richter, I've told you over and over to make sure that any patients who are in serious condition need to be treated. Pack up your things and get out of here. He grabbed the director's name tag off his desk and threw it out into the hallway. President Quinn, but it was Dr. Willow who saved my father. You did well, Doctor. As of right now, you're the new director of this hospital. President Quinn, thank you for your kind offer, but I came to this hospital as part of a research exchange program. I'm officially on the payroll of Downtown General in Chicago. You don't need to go back there. Human Resources will help you complete all the paperwork today. At that moment, Susan woke up. Kevin, is your father out of surgery yet? Yes, Mom. It's over. Dad has been sent to recovery and then he'll have a private room. Mr. Williams, we still have some unfinished business. How about letting my staff take your mother up to recovery? They should be able to let her speak with him for a few minutes once the anesthesia is worn off. Kevin, if you have something to do, go ahead. I'll be upstairs with your father. Susan started to walk out of the office. Two of his associates cheerfully headed out and invited Kevin's mother to follow them. President Quinn, I'll be on my way. Mr. Williams, this isn't a good place to talk. Please come with me to my home. Your father will be in good hands while we're gone. They left the hospital together, and Quinn personally drove Kevin to the most luxurious mansion in the whole metropolitan area. Kevin smiled and took a small white vial from his pocket. It contained the 6 herbal pills that he'd prepared the previous night. Mr. Quinn, this should be just what you're looking for. Kevin poured out a red pill and placed it on the table. I guess there's only one thing left to do, Quinn said with a laugh. Then he stopped delaying and took the pill. While he was waiting for it to take effect, he ordered his assistant to transfer the $500,000 to Kevin's account. Kevin took a walk around the room. Then Kevin walked to the foyer to appreciate the ornate front door and the enormous sliding doors leading to the back patio. He frowned slightly. Something didn't look right to him. Mr. Williams, I can already tell that your pill is working. I haven't felt this vibrant in years. How have things been going for you since you moved here? Now that you mention it, my business was doing great when I built this place. But lately it's slowed down a little. Why do you ask? A friend of mine gave me a book on feng shui. I know a thing or two, but not a lot, Kevin went on. This is a beautiful mansion, but something's not quite right. It looks to me like any positive energy comes in the front door and goes straight out the back of the house. Mr. Quinn, you may want to consider getting someone in here to advise you. As long as I'm working on improving my body, why not do the same for my home? You've been very helpful, my friend. It's my pleasure. But now I need to head back to the hospital and visit with my father. When Kevin got back to the hospital, his father had already woken up and was feeling better. Kevin, I have something to ask you. Dad, no matter what it is, I'm sure it can wait until you've recovered. But he didn't want to discuss the fight at the Williams family mansion. What Kevin wanted right now was to teach them a lesson. When Kevin got to the Williams mansion, his Uncle Thomas was sitting in the head chair. The other family members who had shown up were sitting quietly with solemn expressions on their faces. Kevin, do you really want to see the entire family go bankrupt? Aren't you a member of this family? Am I a member of the Williams family? You all drove me out of the family 3 years ago. When my father collapsed and was taken to the hospital, which of you went to visit him? If that's how you treat family, then I'd like my $8 billion back. Kevin, this concerns the future of our family. Whether we sell our shares or let the family go bankrupt, I'll leave it up to you. The message was clear. He and his parents were out of the family. Of course, Kevin didn't really want the Williams family to go bankrupt. All he wanted was for them to apologize to him and his parents for their behavior. When Kevin got back to his apartment at Corwin Tower, Lily and Rachel were waiting for him by the elevator. Let's go out for a walk. You can carry my shopping bags today. Kevin and Lily walked into a chic jewelry store, and Lily's eyes lit up when she saw a beautiful necklace in the display case. Do you think you might want to buy it for me? The price tag says it costs $20,000. Hi, could you please take this necklace out so my wife could try it on? I'm sorry, but that's not permitted.
All jewelry must be purchased before it can be removed from the case. Just then, everyone heard a shrill voice order the associate, "Take this necklace out so I can try it on." They looked over and saw an elegantly dressed woman holding an older man's arm as she walked over to the display case. She was pointing at the necklace Lily wanted. "Okay, just a moment, ma'am," the associate said as she unlocked the case to remove the necklace for the woman. "Didn't you just say that you don't allow anyone to try anything on if they haven't already paid for it? But can you afford it? If you really can afford it, why don't you just buy it?" He patted her on the hand and smiled. Then he took out his black card and tossed it on the counter. "Wrap up every piece of jewelry in the store. I'm buying it all for my wife." "Yeah, right. We checked our inventory just an hour ago, and the current stock in the display cases is valued at over $1.4 million. If your card is rejected, I'm calling the police."
Hi, Kevin here. If you are wondering what happens next, then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of InstaEmpire now with the link in the description.